Alright, so let's go over what has been happening this morning, and I guess yesterday as well, since it's worth mentioning that GameStop has popped up again a little bit. It was in kind of this consolidation period, and this was the original line I was looking at. These two lines, so it was consolidating closer and closer together. So it looked like it was going to break one way or the other at some point. Um, so yesterday ended up breaking through this previous line, popped up all the way to 147. I took a few trades on it, but I kind of got caught on the top here. I bought going into 150, and it just kind of it fell off very quickly from there, unfortunately. So I still was positive on the trade, but not as positive as I as I definitely wanted to be. Um, but now we see it's come back down to this line. It held below it for a little bit last night, but reclaimed it this morning. So we're still holding above the previous levels that we were consolidating in, which is very good. Now we have this new line that's based off of the highs from like a week or two ago, coming down into this level. So if we look on the daily, probably the hourly better. If we look at this hourly chart, you can see coming in through these levels, these highs that we put in, whatever now, a week ago. We kind of have a new line with this high after we broke our previous form of consolidation here, and I think this ascending support line is still valid. So we're gonna keep the ascending support line in for now. We'd like to see GameStop stay above this line, and if we punch back up above 145 here, I think we have a good chance of moving up even further. So I'm going to be watching out for that today. Hopefully we can get a nice trade on GameStop. I would like it to happen earlier in the day, since a lot of these moves end up happening later in the day, and I'm at work, so I have to trade on my phone if I want to make trades on it. It's just not ideal. So yeah, that's GameStop today. AQMS popped up earlier today. I don't know if that news. Yeah, they just have a price target. It's a metal company. I know that people have said, like in the last few months, that now that economies all over the world are opening back up again, the need for metal is going to go up, and like metal transportation and the mining companies. I didn't really do any of those plays, but I think that they've worked out pretty well. So this is just like a price target on this, though. So someone put a price target of 8 on it, but I think that's more like a longer hold type situation. So it pumped up a little bit on that news of the price target, but it has pretty much pulled back now. If it does start coming up with more volume, maybe we'll take a trade on it. But you also have to keep in mind that the news is for price target of $8, so I would assume coming into $8, there'd probably be a significant amount of resistance if this does start moving up. So yeah, just keep one eye on that. SLGG, I'm going to keep on the watch today, just because it's had a pretty crazy couple days. So 2 days ago, it popped up from, started down here in the $3 to $4 area, ended the day up above 5, and then there was rumors that, they're like a esports company. There was rumors that GameStop potentially was going to be acquiring them. I don't know if those rumors are true at all, but it was popping up on no news, so that was like the current rumor. And then once people started talking about this, it popped up a little bit more yesterday. Closed really high, up above $9. Now it's come back down to around 7. But 2 days in a row, this thing has gone up. So I feel like we gotta keep it on the watch list for today. Looking pretty strong. So if it comes back above 750 here, comes back above VWAP, pushes up through 750. I think it'd be a good trade to take. It has been so strong the past couple days. What else came up? KXIN popped up, but immediately pulled back, so not really too much to talk about there. I'll just take that off the watch list until it pops up again. CLPS, another one that came up and just kind of dropped off. Came up on earnings. The earnings numbers were released around 6 this morning, which I found interesting because between 4 and 6 it went up like $2. So someone clearly had some information about this prior to the earnings being released. And then as soon as the earnings numbers got released, it dropped. So the news ended up being unfortunate in this situation. FLGT is up with very low volume and a very high price stock, so I'm probably not going to look at that. Let's check out SIFY. SIFY popped up at 6 o'clock. Someone is potentially taking a minority stake in this company, so not super exciting news, but yeah, kind of a slow morning. What's going on, gentlemen? Had a few things pop up, but it's just nothing's really staying up, unfortunately. So see what happens as the morning comes on. I was saying before that yeah, they didn't really do much. XTLB rather. XTLB I thought was gonna look nice as it was coming up at 7 o'clock. Look at it. So it came up to $15 yesterday after market, which I don't know if the news was on that. Yeah, XTLB came up after market with, or no, pre-market rather, 4 o'clock in the morning on news, and then pulled back a ton. But then coming into 7 o'clock here, started coming in, more volume coming in, moved up from $5.50 all the way up to about $8. So I thought this thing was ready to make a move, coming up through view up, but just immediately sold off. So unfortunate. What are you gonna do? And then I'm pretty excited about GME today. I was really excited about GME yesterday, because I had my lines going yesterday here. So we had this period. These are my old lines. These two, and it was just consolidating tighter and tighter and tighter, and it seemed like by either the end of the day or this morning that it was going to have to break in one direction. It got the break yesterday. I was watching it as I was at work. I bought going up through 130. I bought a little more going up through 140, and I sold off. I was buying and selling as it was going up through 130 and 140. So I was holding like 25 shares coming up into 147, at like a cost basis of maybe, I don't know, 135 or something like that. And then I bought at like 146 for the move up to 150. And as you can see here, let's zoom this in here. So I bought right here. I was like, this thing's going crazy. Insane volume coming out. It's looking really good. I had like 25 shares, cost basis like 135. I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy going into 150. And I bought 50 shares going into 150. So I was holding 75 shares. This thing went literally. It went in a straight line down. Yeah, it was really unfortunate. I mean, I still got out with profit, but not nearly as much as I was hoping for. I was like super jazzed yesterday that I was like, this thing's gonna make a move back to 200. I thought for sure it was gonna break through 150, but it just bounced off of it really hard. Yeah, I agree. So just from like the lines I drew yesterday, this was like the consolidation wedge that it was in. Um, it's come up to a new line, which I think this is going to be the new line of resistance as we're going forward. But it's holding above the previous wedge high, which is good. So, in my eyes, as long as it's holding above this line, and if we start making a move back up to 145, which is where I think like the current resistance is, I think we'll be looking good. But yeah, dude, I was like so excited. I was like, I'm watching it when it's because like almost every single time GameStop has gone crazy in the last couple weeks, I haven't been like actively watching it, and I only find out about it like 5-10 minutes later, like when I check my phone because I'm at work. Um, so I had like been looking at my phone as it started going up, and I was like, oh man, this is the time. This is the time. I'm gonna catch the wave. Then I just got wrecked. But if it goes up today, I'll take another shot at it. I think the fact that it's breaking up rather than down is very encouraging. If it had dropped through 120 down here and started moving back to 100, I think that really would have been a nice. What exchange are they selling that on? So random. I feel like sometime on like exchanges that you like don't really see, yeah, that you like don't really see like people using like Batty or like Edge A instead of Edge X or like one of those weird exchanges. You'll see people with like really weird orders out. ONTX just popped up, but very low price stock. Let's throw it up on the chart here, see what it looks like. We're out of the way. All right, so it's coming up pretty light volume, very low price. So unless this thing starts moving up, I don't think. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to take a trade on it. Also, no news on it today, so yeah, I don't really see any reason why it's popping up. I kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday, I think, but I don't love. I mean, like I'll trade stocks that are moving without news, especially if like like GameStop has moved a lot without news, but it's because it's shorted so much, so there's still like some reason why it's moving. Sometimes you'll see stocks pop up and they have no news, and then they get halted because they moved too much. So I've seen it happen a few times in the last year. Like, oh, let's see if I can load these charts, or if LK is unlisted. I remember LK popped up. It like like 10x. It went up like 1,000%. Um, and then got halted because there was no news on it. And then it turned out that the news that came out on it was that like their CEO was under investigation for like falsifying their records or something. And it opened like a month later after the news came out, and it dropped like 80% in price. And I don't want that to happen. Yeah, OCGN just popped up a little bit, but super light volume. Light volume. OCGN, I mean, it had a good run here. It's one day, so we know it can make moves. Came up from $9.50 all the way up to $14. What was the news on that this day? That third. After companies, code development, phase 3 interim results of another COVID vaccine. Oh yeah, that was the one where I was like, is like a COVID vaccine with like 81% efficacy, and I was like, I don't think that's that much. Like the other vaccines that are out right now all have over 90%, so I was like kind of wondering why it was like popping up on news for that. I don't know. Give them the benefit of the doubt. People see COVID news, people buy. It's simple as that. So yeah, we'll definitely watch OCGN, but it certainly has quite the hill to climb if it's going to get back to up to any of these levels of resistance. Like there's resistance here above 11. You can see there's quite a bit of consolidation right below it, and it couldn't break back above 11 and hold it. Also seems to be some resistance at 1050. Yeah, and then resistance again here at 920, 960. So you can see it bounced off this 960 level, which is like this last hill here, 962, and it just bounced off against this level. So yeah, a lot more resistance points in the very recent past, which people are going to definitely trade off of. So the thing's gonna have to get a lot more volume coming in if it wants to make it through some of this resistance back up to what it was at 3 days ago. CAGK just popped up, but very light volume. Super light volume. Another one that, earlier this week was significantly higher than it was right now. So even if these things pop up, there's so much resistance they have to work through. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. A lot of these charts look very similar, where it's like if you zoom out, like a couple weeks ago, they're all like significantly higher. Like GME, obviously, but I mean, a bunch of ones that we were looking at yesterday. It was like every time I looked at the daily chart, it was like, oh well, yeah, 2 weeks ago it was 50% higher than it is now. So it's like you all see this stuff like kind of in the same place, where it's just like last week and 2 weeks ago there were things hitting highs, and then over the last 2 weeks it's just been everything has been pulling back. So yeah, I think we're gonna kind of need like a reset here. We need some new stocks to pop up with news. Like what you want to see when news is coming out on some of these stocks, like OCGN when it popped up here, like this is great. It was holding between $1 and $3 for over a month here, and before this it was like a sub $1 stock. So you want to see like seeing these stocks that have in the near past, they don't have any price levels even close to what they're making in the morning. Because if this stock had been between $0 and $3 for the last 6 months, right? There's no recent resistance as you come up. So if we jump above $3, then for all intents and purposes, it's essentially like making an all-time high. Even though there might be an all-time high really far back, like back here, these barely even count because they happened so long ago. So it's much less likely that people will be trading off of these levels that are really far in the past, and more than likely that people are just going to be like, all right, in the last 6 months really hasn't moved much, and now it's making all-time highs. It's like 52-week highs in the last year, and that is just as good. Not a fan of trading all-time highs, but that's all-time highs is great. You got no levels of resistance on the chart, at least on like technically on the chart. So all you have to do is just, I mean, as long as the stock is trading well, just trading the patterns that you see, because you don't have to worry about, hitting some resistance level if like you forget to check the daily chart, and then a month ago there was a massive amount of resistance at $25 or something, and you just weren't aware of it, and all of a sudden you're buying it at $25 and it's selling off. But I could see it because sometimes, having levels to look at makes it a lot easier to determine like where you're going to take profit and stuff. So it's like if you do see that there's a big level of resistance, say we're looking at OCGN, right? It's like you look at this $11 or 1050, and you're like, oh well, there's a lot of resistance there. So if we do push up to 1050, I'm going to take profit there. And then if you start seeing it sell off from that level, then you can just take off your entire position. Be like, ah, it's smart because I looked in the past, saw those levels. But I personally like those all-time highs. Get that chance to just go crazy, dude. It might go to the moon. Yeah, I think GameStop. I really do think GameStop is looking good to go up. But it's a similar thing where it's like, look in the last few days. Let me look at the hourly chart. Yeah, so you look at the last 2 weeks, and it's just, at least on the hourly, there's a bunch of resistance levels here. Around 150, it broke over it a few times, couldn't hold it. As we're coming up here, 175, 185. So there's going to be a few points when, if GameStop does start going up, it's going to be wise to probably take some profit off, just because we've been up close to those levels recently, and it hasn't been able to hold some of them. It's always something to be aware of. So we got 9 minutes to 8 o'clock. Hopefully, we'll get some new stocks popping up at 8. Did you take any trades yesterday, gentlemen? I think really the only trade I took was a GME trade later in the day. Besides the trade that I had yesterday morning, on SKT. Oh, waiting on your settlement. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, besides this trade I made on SKT, I didn't really. I'll keep the. Yeah, really nice move, but I mean, this thing just tanked, dude. It's crazy. Went from $18 all the way up to almost 26. Before the market even opened, pulled back down to below 20, and then just now sitting at $17. Really unfortunate. I am also hoping for that one good run. I'm ready to go. I want a stock to pop up. It's been quite slow the last few weeks, so looking for some momentum here. How's it going, Carl? We just kind of went over a bunch of the stocks that were popping up this morning, but yeah, I feel like a lot of, I mean, pretty much no one likes any decision that's coming out of the government at the moment. The stimulus stuff, I don't think people are super happy about. So it's just like, I don't know. How's the S&P looking here? Yeah, see, this is not good. Below 380. When was the last time we were below 380? So we dipped below 380 here, immediately came back up, but the last time we were really below 380 was earlier this month. So S&P is not looking great. TD didn't let you? That's weird. That's strange. Oh, I mean, apparently you like the stimulus. That's good. Yeah, I don't know. Everything, you know how it is these days. Like, for everything that happens, like, you can find like 1,000 people online that are complaining about it. So like, it's like all I ever see now. It's like, oh, what did the government do? Something, and then it's like I look at any thread related to it, and it's just like a trillion people just being like, this is the worst thing ever. And then you're like, all right, whatever. It's like, it makes no difference to me. Like, I don't know. Yeah, dude, it's just the market could be looking better, unfortunately. We'll see if it starts coming back up today. It'd be nice. I mean, if we start dropping below 370 though, it's definitely not looking good. We bottomed out at 371 yesterday. Yeah, really not spectacular. Well, just gotta hold out. Make whatever trades you can. Take the opportunities that you get if good opportunities show up in the morning. We just gotta ride out this period of this little low period here until we get back to some good momentum on these low float stocks. Dude, I definitely get you there, gentlemen. I feel the same way, dude. Uh, Took some trades on AQMS this morning. I looked at AQMS, but I didn't love the way that it was moving. I mean, it popped up at 7 o'clock nicely here. Made a decent move, but on lighter volume, the first. So like up until this point, the highest volume candle was 28,000 shares, which is fairly small. And then once it made this big green candle of over 50,000 shares, 65,000 shares, then I was like, all right, if we get a pullback, and then we start moving above that high on similar volume, then it looks like it's the start of a good trade. But then the immediate next candle pulled back 75% of the move, and then it just dropped from there. So yeah, I don't really take a ton of like super small trades like that. I think like maybe at some point I should try to like work it into the stuff that like the trades that I make. Um, just because like it's good to take advantage of TDs, no commissions, so you can make like very very small trades, like looking for like 10 cents. You don't have to worry about paying however many commissions every single time you make one of those trades. So it might be something that I start doing it at some point, just like trying to buy on the bid, sell on the ask on some of these stocks that are kind of moving sideways a little bit, waiting for a breakout, and then when the breakout happens, then I can actually buy in with a full position. Oh yeah, 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 you definitely do, right? If you're targeting like 10 cents a trade, right? You want to probably minimum have a 200 share position. It's like each one of your trades you'll be making like $20, you know. So yeah. Luckily, my account is a margin account, so I don't have to worry about like cash settling or anything. Which is kind of why I said like I think maybe I should try to take advantage of that. Like try to learn like a new style of trading. Because like the way that I trade is based on like what a lot of I don't know. It's like a pretty standard way of trading. I think uh, that most streamers do, where it's like looking for buying into strength, looking for breakouts, potentially getting dips off VWAP. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like a very standard way of trading, and it's the only one that I've learned so far. So I might try to start working in some other things. I know other people that I've watched on YouTube are like they pretty much only do like dip trades, but like hard dips where it's like if something has moved down 5-10% over the course of in low floats, could even be like seconds, right? They buy with the expectation of it coming up 10 cents, and then they just take that 10 cents off the table. So it's essentially like scalping in the way that Carl was talking about, but it's like specifically looking for like very fast dips, getting in quick, getting out quick. And with things like that and low float stocks that are being actively traded, you have a pretty high hit percent with that because most of the time when something does dip down 5 or 10%, people buy it up pretty quickly. Especially when it's like, yeah, it's a stock that has over 1 million shares traded on the day and it's already up 50% or something. So it's like very high hit rate, low profit, and then in the event that it does continue falling, then it's they end up losing significantly more than their aiming to make, but since they have like a 90% hit rate on these trades, it all works out in their favor, you know. So I've definitely seen people do that. So I know that it does work, but you do have to be like, you have to have some serious balls to do it because you're getting into a dip. So it's like the stock's already dropped down like steeply, you know, and then you have to take like a big position hoping for it to go up. Oh, we just hit 8 o'clock. Something popped up. EYES. I have some previous levels here on EYES. Another one that's kind of pulled back a pretty significant amount, but it's coming back up to its highs here, which is nice to see. So good volume on the first minute. 257 is the high that we're looking at right now. So let's get it up on my actual trading window here. So if we're coming up through 257, I'll try to take a trade on this. Good volume. So got filled 15 shares at 245. So it just popped up and pulled back. So we'll give it a second here. If it holds above 220, I think we're going to be okay. And if not, then I'll just cut it. And we're dropping. Yeah. Alright. So sold off. So just took a quick shot on that one, just because it's the first thing we've seen that's come up on volume. You know, it's popped up at 8 o'clock, presumably on news. Yeah, 8 o'clock. Had some news on it. Had over 100,000 shares of volume traded in the first 1 minute candle. So we'll give it a second here. If it does start coming back up, maybe puts in a little bit of a better setup for us, then we'll try to buy above 260 here. Yeah, that's the way with some of these stocks. I mean, like, if they're coming up on significant volume, it moved up, you know, nearly 100% in the first candle. So if this thing catches some momentum and people start buying into it more, then you have to take the trade on it. METX just popped up as well. Let's see here. Announced a 591% in gross billing in February. Yeah, gentlemen, I mean, it might be a good call. Might be a good call on one of those. I'm really hoping GME is gonna make a move back up today. So I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that pretty much all day. METX. METX kind of just chilling. I mean, just as much red volume as there is green volume on it right now. You know, it's kind of like whatever. It's probably gonna be moving sideways here. YES did just make a 1 minute high, but a lot of red volume, so I think a lot of people are selling off here. We'll still keep an eye on it. Right. Yeah, so METX and UIES both watch now. Yeah, so that's the unfortunate thing. It's like the PDT rule just screw you. If you have the margin account, yeah, only being able to make 3 trades every 5 days is like insane. I don't even really think it helps like retail investors. You know, like that's supposedly the PDT rule is supposed to be there, so it's like you don't lose all of your money. But I feel like with the PDT rule there, people just like take a trade and then they don't want to get out of it because it's one of their 3 trades for the week. So they're like more willing to risk more money just to stay in the trade, because if they get out, then they lose the opportunity. Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, so EYES and METX not looking like they're really panning out very well here. Down $5 on the day now. Feels bad. EYES though, man, what a move! In the course of about 20 seconds, it went from 145 to 260. Absolutely insane move. Let's check out what the news is on this. Oh, FDA approval of a retinal prosthesis system. Cool. Sounds vaguely important. So we'll keep an eye on these, but now that they're pulling back, I don't really see a chance to take a trade. Never know, they might come back up. So EYS in somewhat recent history, if we look at these charts, there is resistance coming up to 280 and 275. So I guess it would kind of make sense that it bounced off of that level. And then last month, a couple months ago, it had a high of 430. So still got some room to run. I mean, if it does move above 260 here, if it moves above 260, breaks like this bit of resistance between 275 and 3, then you have a pretty straight shot, up back to the highs, or at least recent highs. So volume coming in on it. That's pushing above 220 here. Volume's looking good. Starts pushing above 230. I'll take a trade on this. Pushing up to 228, 229, above 230. The highest volume candle so far today. EYES. But hitting a little resistance at 230 there. Then sold back down to 220. Yeah, it's unfortunate. METX kind of doing a similar thing where it's just popped up from $2 to 270, pulled back. I mean, the charts look like nearly identical. Oh, AESE halted. That is one thing that I should try to integrate into the scanners too, like a halting scanner, because I don't have that right now. Alright, so we're pushing above. See if I can buy a few shares here as we hold above 230. If we dip back down below 230, then sell these shares off. So keep a tight stop on it. Seems like might drop below 230. So red coming in. See if we hold. 230 is the place to hold. Oh, just dropped down. But get back up immediately. Yeah, I need to see if there's like a way I can query it from like the TD API, or if there's some other free API that I can use to query halted stocks. So we dropped below 230, but holding up a little bit here. And lighter volume on the drop, which is good to see. So I'm going to allow this to hold down to VWAP, which is at 222 right now. And we're looking for the move back up, the push through 240 to 260. I'm only holding 15 shares, so not a significant position size. But if we start getting some green, then we'll add to the position as we come up through 260. And we're pushing down. I'll sell off. Drop down below the up. So I'm taking shots on the EYES here. All right, sounds good, gentlemen. I'll still be here. I'm taking some shots on EYES just because it does. I mean, it seems like it's a lot of volume being traded on it, and it does look like it has the potential to move up from 260, with limited resistance up to 460. So taking smaller size on the initial position I'm holding, and then keeping my stop pretty close, so that if we start going the other way, then I'm not out a significant amount. And if we go up, then the profit, my profit targets are sufficiently high to make back the loss that I'll lose on these. We're looking on the 5-minute right now. So on the 5-minute, so now the break of 237 is the previous 5-minute high. So that's probably the next target to look at to buy into. METX also looks like it's coming up a little bit to this 259 level. I feel like METX and EYES are trading like in tandem right now. They look almost identical, their charts. Pretty odd. But they are not related as far as I know. I'll probably keep an eye on AESE because gentlemen said that they're halted for merger news. So might be something interesting to look at as it opens. But it might also be one of those things where it opens and the price is locked in already. We'll switch off AETX or METX for right now and check out AESE. 8 o'clock moved up very nicely. Acquisition offer from Bally's. It's interesting. Another esports company. I wonder what's going on with these esports companies right now, because SLGG has also been going crazy. I mean, it's not really done much this morning, but it's made an almost more than 100% move in the last 3 days. So something's going on with these esports companies. We'll see. We'll wait and see how what AESE does when it opens. But I mean, it's an acquisition offer for 100 mil. Then presumably it's just going to be priced in at whatever price that is as soon as it opens. So I don't know if there's going to be a trade on that we're going to be able to make. Get METX back up since it seems to be moving sideways a little bit here. So I think EYES still definitely has a chance to pop back up here. METX also, but METX has been on significantly lower volume than EYES. And METX float is also higher, so so METX popping up on the 5-minute, but just pulled back. I want to see some higher volume coming into METX before I'm gonna make a trade on this. He said KMPH. I know KMPH popped up the other day. Got a little bit of volume coming back into it now, but oh my god, dude, this thing's got a hill to climb as well. Jesus. 2 days ago it was at $21 and now it's at 10. My god. And also no new news as far as I can tell. Oh, it's a meme stock. That's true. Definitely tradable. Trade them every day. Yeah, METX holding below that 260 level there, so not looking spectacular. Yeah, if KMPH that keeps moving up, I'll take a trade on it. But you know, it's up. What is it? Up 15% today on 150,000 shares of volume. That's not super significant. I took my 2 shots on EYES just because I thought this had the chance to move up, but I'm probably gonna wait until I get a good, nice trade for the next one. Try to get in with a little healthier share size. METX pulling back, so just check out the watch list. Checking out XTLB earlier. Yeah, it's pulled back significantly. It's not really doing much. As far as GameStop, still holding, you know, similar level that it closed at. So still looking all right there. I mean, it definitely has the potential to move back up. So always one to watch. SLGG is pulled back pretty significantly from the high yesterday. So I don't know about that. Unless like news comes out on SLGG, just because it's been trading without news for 2 days now. So I think unless news comes out today, now that it's pulled back more than 20%, we're gonna have to just wait and see what happens with that. CLPS was trading all right this morning, but it's also pulled back significantly. So, was it have earnings today? So, yeah, their earnings came out at 6:15. So, yeah, for the Robinhooders. Are people moving away from Robinhood? I feel like I like I don't understand how people are still using it after what happened. Kind of crazy. Yeah, and AESE, I have a feeling AESE is just gonna. They already said the price that they were offered, so I have a feeling AESE is just gonna open up at that exact price, and it's just not gonna be. It's not gonna move very much. It said it's $100 million acquisition offer. So just divide that by the float, and you should get the price that it's gonna open at. FLGT, yeah, FLGT is on the scanners, but it's such a high price stock, and it's moved up with such low volume that it's definitely not worth looking at. Let's see how METX, EYES and METX both holding above, just a little bit of ascending support. So I think either of them can make a move up, and if they make a move up, then you're gonna have to take a trade on it. EYS is below VWAP right now, which I don't love. METX popping back up. God, METX might be going without us here. So it's popped up above this level one other time now, and it's pulled back. So I'd like to see it hold above here and then push up through 270. And if it pushes up through 270, then I'll try to take some shares on it if it holds above 270. And then we'll also keep an eye on EYES on the other chart. See if METX can hold up. But it's already had a couple of false breakouts here. This is the 5-minute candle is closing in 10 seconds. So if this 5-minute candle doesn't close above 262, then doesn't look amazing. It's closed below it, so we'll see if it starts selling off here. If it closed below it and immediately broke up through 264, I would say that's a good sign. If we sell down below 257, though, then it's not looking spectacular. Those are really the two levels to watch. If we just drop below 257, I would expect this to come back down to VWAP then. Then maybe it'll come back up for a 1 minute setup at some point, but well, it's actually just getting bought up real nicely right now. Alright. A lot of green volume coming into METX. It's 820, so no time significance to this. Clear. But it's really, dude, this thing is just struggling to stay above 260. Every time it comes above 260, it just sells off. I want to see this come above 270. I want to see it hold above 270. If it holds above 270, then I'll take some trade. Then I'll take a trade on it. But yeah, it's just really, really spiky volume. You know, we have a bunch of green volume, and then as soon as we come above 260, it's just like all selling off, selling off. And EYES just sold off below its ascending support, so I think that EYES is probably done. I don't foresee it making a comeback, and if it did, I would need to see a pretty big move to want to take a trade on it at this point. It would need to come up to at least 240 and then hold above it. So, like, when the market is stronger, trading straight into these breakouts is a better idea, because when the market, when the low float market's strong, it makes these breakouts and it'll immediately jump up like 10, 20, 30 cents, and then you might not even get a pullback to try to buy back in. But when the low float market has been so weak like it's been in the last like 2 weeks, yeah, I did see that. Got some FDA approval. But yeah, like when the market's been weak like it has been, it's sometimes better to wait for a break and then wait for it to hold the level, because we've seen so many false breakouts in the last 2 weeks that you just don't want to get caught out in them. It's breaking out like here on the dollar, on the 1 minute chart, broke out from 259 to 262, pulled back 20 cents, and now it's broken out 3 times, and each time it's broken out, it's only broken out 1 cent each time. So broke out from 262 to 264, 264 to 265. Now we're seeing a little move up here. We'll see if it can hold close to 270 on METX. But when I'm seeing these breakouts, like 1 cent, 2 cent breakouts, if I want to buy into strength here, my potential gain on some of these breakouts is looking to be close to 1 cent, and then my potential losses, I need to hold through like a 20 cent pullback. So, I don't love that. METX broke above 270 here. Seems to be holding pretty well above it. I'd like to see this 1 minute candle close above 270. I got 15 seconds on it. Yeah, it's just hard to say whether this is a decent trade or not, because the breakouts have just been terrible on this. It could turn around right now, and I'd have to hold through a 20 cent pullback just for it to come back up and break through for another 3 cents. And if we look on the daily chart, there is quite a few candles between 280 and $3. Red candles, so there's going to be resistance all the way up to $3. Then there's a quite a big candle on the daily chart. If we look on the daily chart back here, so this daily candle here, where it went up, touched 328, and then pulled all the way back down to below 3. So big amount of resistance coming up through $3. So I just think that the potential upside to this, if I'm taking a trade on it, is It's just it's really not as high as I'd want it to be for the potential downside. It's just like look at how many red candles there have been in the last 2 weeks. Every single move, every single time it tried to make a move up, it just pulled it all back, pulled it all back, pulled it all back. It's just really unfortunate. So, and now after looking at the daily chart, I probably wouldn't be willing to take a trade on this unless we came up above 328. So, it's a pretty big move that it would have to make. Yeah, the daily chart's just full of red, not what you want to see. It's just these 5-minute candles are rough too. Breakout, and then a potential pullback